Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news up at Adesawe Kanda. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey.
I'm Hammoah Agyemang.
This evening, Agyemang North and Ocansey Central Coalition will not be accepted, as according to the Electoral Commission, indicating they want maximum security to complete recollation process in 9 constituencies. We'll tell you exactly what the Electoral Commission has been saying, and that has generated some reaction as well from the NDC and others who have been watching the happenings in the aftermath of this election closely.
The Commission has meanwhile called on President Akufo-Addo and President-elect John Mahama to help provide security for its officials to allow recollation of outstanding results. Also tonight, as blame game over NPP's electoral defeat intensifies, the majority leader, Alexander Penyo-Marking, is appealing for calm. And we also tell you why President-elect John Mahama says Ghanaians should not misconstrue the committee formed to recover state assets as witch hunts, rather efforts to fight corruption. We have details of these and more, plus business and sports, coming up shortly.
Summary of the news now, and George Quinning is here. George.
Yeah, thank you, Alfred. And the Election Commission has called on President Akufo-Addo and President-elect John Dramani Mahama to ensure security for its officials, citing threat and intimidation by party supporters as obstacles to recollating results in 9 constituencies. And President-elect John Dramani Mahama has clarified that the committee formed to recover state assets is not a witch hunt but a focused effort to combat corruption. He stated that the incoming NDC administration has received numerous corruption reports via calls and tests. The committee will serve as a central hub to gather evidence and forward it to relevant government institutions for thorough investigation. And the National Council of Parent Teachers Association in Ghana is weighing legal action against the Education Ministry and WAEC over delays in releasing the 2024 WASSCE results. The delay is attributed to the government's outstanding debt of 8 million cedis to the Examination Council. And families of the two 12-year-old girls killed in the East Legon accident are calling for amendments to the Juvenile Justice Act to impose harsher penalties for minors involved in serious crimes. This follows the sentences of a 16-year-old son of Bishop Salifo Marco to 6 months after pleading guilty to manslaughter. The grandmother of one of the victims, Justin Agbenu, expressed dissatisfaction with the verdict while addressing journalists. And assembly members in the Futu constituency have raised concerns over alleged disruptions by NDC supporters during meetings. They claim the supporters crowd the premises, hindering proceedings and obstructing critical discussions. Despite involving the police, the issue remains unresolved, leaving members unable to work effectively. And lastly, the 16 persons arrested in connection with an electoral violence at Damongo in the Savannah region have been granted bail by Kumasi High Court after 7-1-week remand in prison custody. Violence erupted in the constituency on December 8th, following delays in declaration of the election results, leading to the death of one and banning of the district electoral commission office. And these are the news summaries.
George Quinning, thank you. This morning is on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. And our first story. Right now, the Electoral Commission has appealed to President Akufo-Addo and President-elect John Mahama to help provide security for its officials to allow recollation of outstanding constituency results. According to the chairperson, Jean Adokoy-Mensah, threats, intimidation, and unlawful takeovers by party supporters have grounded efforts to complete processes for some 9 constituencies outstanding in terms of their results. Addressing a press briefing today, the Electoral Commission said it will not uphold the parliamentary election results declared in these 9 constituencies. That's in Somadreji, Ahafo Southwest, Ahafo North, Obuasi East, Ocansey Central, Agyemang North, Tema Central, Techiman South, and Domkwabenya constituencies. Madam Jane Mensah explained that the collation of results in these constituencies was disrupted by supporters of some political parties, rendering the process incomplete, and that upholding such unlawful collations and declarations will set a bad precedent for the country. This is what she said earlier today at the press briefing.
By some political party leaders to their supporters to besiege the collation centers of the EC. These supporters destroyed pink sheets required for the collation, as well as results collation forms in some areas. We have been faced with resistance, threats, intimidation, and the destruction of our properties. And winners have been declared without due processes governing collation being followed. The declarations made by our staff were made under threat, and the Commission considers this as illegal. Those declarations, as well as others that have gone on in other constituencies, will not be upheld by the Commission. It was agreed that new locations in Accra and Kumasi would be designated for the police for the collation process. However, the police, in the letter to the Commission, indicated that once again their intelligence reports had revealed planned unrests by party supporters for both Accra and Kumasi, making it difficult for them to guarantee the security of the collation process as earlier planned. This has put our efforts to complete the collation process at a standstill. It is important to note that contrary to the narrative that the Commission staff have not been ready, our staff have been fully aligned and ready and poised to complete their task. Indeed, all our teams from the regions, the Eastern region, the Ashanti region, were all at the Tessanot Police Depot to carry out their tasks and to bring it to a completion. And this has been, their readiness has been in spite of the beatings and threats they have received. I must note that they have been, in spite of the face of the beatings and threats, they have been determined and have shown resolve to carry out their functions and have fully cooperated with the police to ensure the full completion of the collation process for their respective constituencies.
That's Jane Mensah, the chair of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. They are addressing the press earlier today, in fact. Also indicated that appeal to President Akufo-Addo and President-elect John Mahama and the National Election Security Task Force, headed by the IGP, that's George Akufo-Dampare, to ensure that the Commission is provided with adequate security to carry out its mandate effectively. I want to take a listen to him.
In the view of the Commission, upholding such unlawful collations and declarations will set a bad precedent for our country and set us back to the dark days. We therefore use this occasion to humbly call on the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as well as our President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to intervene in this matter so as to ensure that the Commission is provided with the necessary security and protection to carry out its functions. We also call on the National Election Security Task Force to come together to put in place arrangements to ensure that our staff and our processes are protected and secured in a way that will ensure that the true outcomes of our processes reflect the will of the people as expressed on the pink sheets.
So that's Jane Mensah there. But let's go on to the telephone now and speak to Alhaji Haruna Mohammed, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. He's joining us on the telephone. Alhaji, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Thank you, Alfred.
First off, you had the EC chair there and outlining reasons why, in fact, this is not the first time we've had them outline reasons why they do not recognize the declaration of some of the constituencies where the NDC candidates won as legitimate. They say it's illegal. But even before they go ahead with the recollation that they talk about, you had already indicated that you won these contested constituencies, correct?
Yes.
Based on what?
Thank you very much. I would like to first and foremost say good evening to your cherished listeners and those watching on Facebook. We have held series of press conferences. The last one we did was addressed by the General Secretary and Peter McMinu, former National Chairman of our party, indicating the infractions that had happened during the coalition process as stipulated in CI 127. And we all saw publicly, and we saw hoodlums of the NDC who had besieged these centers and caused harm and chaos to stop these processes. That is constitutionally mandated by the Electoral Commission to do so. We have also the vandalism, even at the National Police Training School, which is a national security installation. These people had massacre that culminated into us stopping the entire coalition process. We are of the view that this 9 constituencies must be done in conformity with CI 127, and nothing else that we as a party will reduce ourselves to. We stand for peace, we stand for the rule of law, and that is exactly what we are going to do. We as MPP have been indicated by this particular press conference that has been indicated that people were put at gunpoint to declare results for them. What the NDC is forgetting is that they cannot be in power forever. And if this is left to stand, then this country will be very chaotic. And we won't put this particular warning to them. Let all of us come together to ensure that the right thing is done. And that is the only thing all of us will be able to do. If you go and read the CI 127, go and read Regulation 39(3)(b), it says that each candidate or the representative of each candidate or the counting agent, a copy of the declaration of the results will be given to the person. If you go for declaration and go and read the same CI, Regulation 43, it tells you that each candidate or the representative or counting agent of a candidate a completed and a signed copy of the parliamentary election results collation form as set out in Form 1C of the schedule and the parliamentary election results summary sheet as set out in Form 1D of the schedule. These copies have been given to parties. No matter what they have gone to destroy at the collation center, no matter how they have gone to burn ballot papers, our interest is in the stipulated provisions of the CI as contained in Regulation 39 and contained in Regulation 43. We are not going to shred off our interest of making sure that we uphold the integrity and sanctity of these elections. Ghana is the only place that we have. All of us must join together to ensure that the right thing is done.
And you say that some persons, EC officers, were put at gunpoint to declare results for the NDC. Which constituency exactly did this happen, that a declaration was made at gunpoint?
Sema Central. You saw the petition, the report that came from the Electoral Commission.
And he said he did it at gunpoint?
For Boasit East, the MP was asked, the MP was asked to either choose his life or his position as MP. There are plethora of examples that we would have to give on this particular state. You saw what happened. You saw Sam George when he went to Ocansey to force the people to declare against our very MP, very respectable MP. You saw what happened.
Yes,
Some of these things must not be left to stand on its legs. It is undemocratic. It is demonic. It is something that all of us have to join and condemn. The media, you saw them. Okay. We have considered defeat, not because we are cowards, but because we think that the peace of this country is very paramount. We collated our results as a responsible political party. We saw that the data was not on our side. We came out to make sure that we let the Ghanaian citizen know that we are not winning the elections.
Okay.
See what happened in 2020. These people, the whole drama, we have been able to curtail it. Ghanaians are seeing now that the NPP is more a party that believes in peace, a party that believes in the right process, a party that believes in probity, the party that believes that the right thing must be done. And that is what we stand for. Our values still defines us.
Right. So, Hannah, so because you make reference to the CI 127, I believe indeed that you are operating within the remits of the law and as a man who values the rule of law. Now, the NDC has already sued the Electoral Commission over this recollation exercise. Does the CI 127 give the Electoral Commission any power to invalidate results declared by its officers by just a press conference, or they would have to go to court to, as it were, invalidate these results that they say is illegal?
Alfred, if you address your mind to the CI 127, go and read CI 127, Regulation 43 2.
Regulation 43 2.
Shall on receipt of an endorsed writ published in the Gazette a notice stating the name of the person elected and the total number of votes cast for each candidate. So much as you go and stand and declare a result that is not in conformity with the law, doesn't necessarily mean that the Electoral Commission will take whatever you do. Alfred, if you want to go by what is happening, check some of the constituencies. A constituency that has, let's say, 200 polling stations, you go and gather 140, 120 polling stations, do it and declare, and say that, okay, once I have declared, and the law says that if I declare, you go to court. Tomorrow, somebody will pick one polling station, declare that polling station, and declare somebody as an MP elect.
No, so that's why I asked a specific question. I asked a specific question about the provisions of the law and what the Electoral Commission is doing right now. Because, as you indicated, I have made reference to, and I've come through the CI 127, and as to whether the Electoral Commission can and is close with the law, backed by the law, to do what it is doing now. I'm sure that you'll say that it's not in there.
Then I want to quote the law to you.
Now, the press conference that they have just addressed, saying that the declarations by their officers in Tema Central, Kaikwe Central, Blekuma North, and Dom Kwabenya are illegal. Does the EC have the power to do that?
Yes, the EC has the power and if the EC has the power to gazette.
No, I'm talking about the power to invalidate the results.
If not in conformity with the law, they will not gazette.
No, so that's why I asked a specific question. Do they have the power to invalidate? No, I'm asking if they have the power to invalidate the results declared.
They have the power not to gazette. And if they don't gazette, declaration is nothing. If they don't gazette, you don't even go to court. If you get it. If EC doesn't gazette, you can't even go to court to challenge the results. So that is what it is. And I pointed to you that it is in Regulation 43.2, both A and B. And that is where they publish it in the Gazette, notice stating the name of the person elected. The EC tells you that there are infractions in those declarations. They are not declared in conformity with the law. And that is the CI. And then, based on that, they will inform the Clerk of Parliament, indicating the name and candidates who are duly elected. So if they say that, okay, you have gone to do an illegality, we are not gazetting it. That is their right. It is in the law.
Well, for the NDC, they say they are just making reference to the song that you played to them in 2020, that if they have issues or concerns and other opinions about election results declared by the Electoral Commission officers, then they should go to court. That's what you told them in 2020, is it not?
If declarations were done in conformity with the law, you go to court. If the NDC and the EC have saw at that time that we have put people on gunpoint to ask them to choose between winning an election and their life, we have never done so. We didn't do that. I am from the northern part of the country. In Sabulugu, we did not put a gun on anybody to do declaration. In my hometown, Zabzugu, we did not put a gun on anybody to do a declaration. In Pusiga, we went to court. We never put a gun on anybody to do a declaration. These were declarations that were done. We found infractions in those particular results that were duly collated. We went to court, we won some, and we lost some. But in this case, how on earth will you have 200 polling stations? Somebody put together 140. You say he should not, because the other one is not in your favor. They should declare the results in your favor. And you put macho men standing there with guns, machetes, cutlasses. It doesn't augur well. That is not the Kwame Nkrumah Ghana we have.
Elijah, hold on a bit for me, because I have also been joined by Mustafa Gbande, who is your colleague on the other side, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Mustafa Gbande, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Hot Edition.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Well, you heard your colleague on the other side, Alhaji Haruna Mohammed, make the point, in fact, supporting the EC's position on this matter, indicating that they do not accept the collated result of Ablekuma North and Okaikwe Central constituencies. And in fact, they added Dom Kwabenya and then also Tema Central because they say it did not follow due process because irregularities recorded during the coalition and subsequent declaration of your candidates as the winners and MPs elect of these constituencies violated laid down rules, so they are not recognizing it and they are going to do recollation. That's what the EC chair said earlier today. That's to you, the NDC. Alaj.
Well, so I extend a good evening to my brother at the other side. Let me emphasize that the conversation we are having is fact versus concoction. The fact of the matter is that the Electoral Commission is a body established by law, decentralized in the order of the election. It had representatives in all constituencies. Parliamentary elections are not within the mandate of the Electoral Commissioner to declare. It is within the mandate of district officers to declare. It is true that after the 11th, the 8th, the 7th, we've had a number of constituencies where, due to misunderstanding, there could not be declaration of those constituencies. This place is one of them. Sawam is one of them. There are also places out of the 276 where declarations have been made. NPP may not have to agree with all of it. NDC may not have to agree with all of it. But there were declarations. And that there are two routes on this matter. If you are having a problem with a declaration done by the Electoral Commissioner at the constituency level, for the purposes of rule of law, you head to court. But if you want to be lawless, then you do otherwise. In Tema Central, I think I was there. Look, before the run-up of the election, the IGP defined what coalition centers were going to be in terms of security. And if you recall, most people had issues with it, why they've changed some places, and the rule was that we needed an enclosed environment for the police to take charge. In Tema Central, I was there. They did when they requested for recollation at the instance of the constituency, or when they did it at the regional police headquarters. I was there, Titus Glover. The regional minister was there. Police, the party supporters were about 500 meters away from the coalition center. And that result was declared. Now, we are one step ahead of what my brother is saying, and we have moved there. I am sitting here and holding intelligence on how the Interior Minister is prepared to rally the military for these illegal criminal exercise of the Electoral Commission, and how he's been trying to get the police to get involved.
So you have intelligence that the military is going to be deployed?
Yes, I'll just give you intelligence. And I'm telling you that for the purposes of election protocol, if there was anybody who got guns involved in this election, it is the government of the day, the exiting government.
Why do you say that?
Led by President Akufo-Addo. The President Akufo-Addo is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. They deployed military officers with weapons, rifles, displayed same, even snipers were released into the election. But let me assure him, beyond the rhetoric of what the law says and what their understanding is vis-a-vis their mischief, they should go to court. I want to plead with them. They've lost power. They should go to court. There will not be recollation, and I dare President Akufo-Addo, I dare Henry Quartey, and I dare the MPP. If they like, they should get Jane Mensah to try a recollation in this country, and let us see. The peaceful way is to head to court. You don't understand declaration, go to court. The same thing happened in 2020 election. The NDC, just as they are doing today, requested for recollation. We were told to go to court, and that the local government minister is an MP, we believe, didn't win the election. But once a declaration was made, and I'm talking about the Chief and Staff and other places, once a declaration has been made, if you don't agree, it is only within the bosom of the court to decide otherwise. It is not within the purview of the Electoral Commission. He is quoting CI 125 and 127 Regulation 43. That is a lie. What he's saying, the law never says so. The law makes it very printed. You cannot do recollation after the declaration have been done. You can't. Look, they are planning all means possible to use some level of force to do forced declaration because the Electoral Commission is on their side. And I'm daring Jane that if she thinks she is a woman who doesn't have fear of the law, and she wants to run this nation into a problem, she should try and do recollation. We'll see where they will do the recollation. And we already have evidence of Henry Quartey trying to get the military to support them to do declaration. They should try it.
But Henry Quartey cannot. But Mustafa, hold on. Mustafa, I'm coming. Henry Quartey cannot order the military. He's the interior minister. He's not a defense minister. There are two different portfolios. He cannot. So are you saying that your intelligence is that Henry Quartey would order the military, which he doesn't have jurisdiction over as interior minister?
Well, he cannot even order the military. He's doing everything possible. You see, the MPP is on the wrong route, and they are trying to mobilize some force to support them to do that. So while we are already making noise, and while the Electoral Commission is busy perpetrating illegality, they are busy looking for forces to help them do wrongful declaration of recollated resource in the midst of fake thing sheets that they have tried to import into the system, that they have tried to mix with what we have. Let me assure my brother at the other side, they have lost the election. They should go to court.
But if you say they are mixing fake pin sheets, you have any records of fake pin sheets, an attempt to infiltrate the system?
This was characterized by fake ballot papers, fake pink sheets, and every material fake, under the sponsorship of the MPP and the government of the day. This is the most scandalous election, but it was met with citizen vigilance that broke down the rigging system of the Electoral Commission. They tried to use the military. They tried to use the IT system, which crashed. They tried to use fake pin sheets. It crashed. The people were more vigilant. I will advise them to go to court because we are more prepared. If they make a wrong move, the NDC and the people of Ghana are fully ready to ensure that the right thing is done.
The EC chair was very clear in her words. The EC chair was very clear in her words that these declared results are not recognized by the Electoral Commission, and hence they would do recollation and in fact appeal to the president and president-elect to provide security for their men as they look for another location for the recollation. That was very clear.
Well, I can assure you that, for example, in Ablekuma,
Ablekuma North.
Ablekuma North. The police officers were there. It was not an NDC General Secretary who declared the results. It was an EC designated legal officer who did the declaration. They said, they were at gunpoint. Are they showing evidence of such gunpoint? So the police command at Agyemang waited for somebody to show guns on the head of a commissioner of the Electoral Commission, and that person never got arrested. Now the MPP is even attacking the entire security entities that oversaw the election. There was not violence on the day of election. How could there be violence at the coalition center? It's all a lie. It doesn't find space in truth. But let me tell you, she's pleading to the president, and I'd say that I'm daring President Akufo-Addo of all the wrongs he has done. Let him try to commit this nation to this illegal criminal scheme of recoalition and see how it will be dismissed, how it will be attacked by the people of Ghana. Let him try it. And I'm telling the MPP that they are not just on the wrong side of law, they are extending their criminal enterprise and mindset into a genuinely conducted, declared election, and that we will resist same with every might and capacity we have, having the truth on our side, on the basis of law, on the basis of the Electoral Commission's own precedent, that when collation is done, results declared, if you do not agree, you go to court. Even the court, the rules of court on the election suggest same. They can't circumvent, they can't use force. The NDC is peaceful and will continue to maintain a peaceful atmosphere, even as we transition into a new government. But we have adequately prepared ourselves for excesses, pestilence, disturbance, and any group of people who think they will reconvene to cause confusion, to bring chaos, to try and undermine the rule of law in this country, including the exiting president.
Right. So we have just got some information about one violent incident that happened during the election. Some people have been arrested on this. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for this. And we'll see how the coming days will look like on this matter. But, Grace, there's some information coming through right now.
Yes, Alfred, that is in relation to the violence that happened at Damongo as like an aftermath of the elections. And we know that the 16 persons arrested in connection with an electoral violence at Damongo in the Savannah region have been granted bail by Ocansey High Court after serving 1 week remand in prison custody. Violence erupted in the constituency on December 8th following delays in declaration of the election results, leading to the death of one and burning of the district electoral commission office. Ibrahim Abubakar has more in this report.
The plea of the accused was not taken when they appeared before the court for the second time. The state attorney requested for more time to gather ample evidence and conclude investigation, thus prayed for continuous detention of the accused. But the defense counsel mounted a strong argument and eventually secured a bail for his client.
An incident happened during the elections, but police picked people randomly, associating them with the incident. That is why the police have not been able to establish any guilt or anything against the accused persons. So the court exercised its discretion in favor of the accused persons. So graciously, our brothers from Damongo has been granted bail.
The 16 have each been granted a bail of 20,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. The NDC parliamentary candidate for Damongo, Adam Mutawakilu, says the youth have been advised to embrace peace.
Thank God they've been given bail. I want to assure each and everybody that peace will prevail in Damongo. We've spoken to the youth and we'll continue to talk to the youth. But what happened is just a slap on the face of democracy.
Though the incident occurred at Damongo in the Savannah region, the case was brought before Ocansey High Court for security reasons. The accused are standing trial on causing unlawful damage, causing harm, and obstruction of electoral officers in the performance of their duties. They had to reappear in court on January 23, 2025.
Ibrahim Abubakar's report there. And Alfred, you know that after the election, the aftermath of the election hasn't only just been on constituencies that are being disputed. There's also the part where the NPP lost, and already there's some kind of blame game ongoing on in the party. So this morning, the Afuti Member of Parliament was in our studios, and he is making a call on the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party to stop the blame game after the party's defeat during the just ended presidential and parliamentary elections. Members of the party, pained by their massive electoral defeat to the NDC, have started to point accusing fingers at leading figures in the party, including President Akufo-Addo, his Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and the NPP leadership amid growing calls for loyalists of Akufo-Addo to be purged from the party. Commenting on the developments, however, Alexander Penyomarkin urged for calm and introspection to understand the cause of the monumental loss. He believes with time the party would bounce back. He spoke with John Hughes on 2FM Sunrise.
Sometimes people would want to vent. But my message to them is that take it easy. Calm down. Let's manage all things in-house. Our friends in NDC have been in that situation before. They have been in that situation before. They manage themselves, and today they have the power. We did so well in government. Infrastructure, social intervention programs we rolled out.
2.7.
Ghanaians benefited. We managed the COVID situation. No public sector worker was denying salary. We've done more recruitment into the security services. We've done more recruitment into public service to create jobs for people. We activated the private sector drive. This technology, digital policy we introduced has made social services convenient. What's more, we need to put ourselves together and even in opposition, speak about the impact of these interventions to the people and rebrand ourselves and give them hope. Because it's all about giving hope to the disappointed, to the dejected, to the depressed, and to assure that when the opportunity comes, I will do things better. It's as simple as that. Calling each other names, calling one another names, fighting publicly will not be the solution. But again, there are some people that you can also stop them. All you need to do is to talk to them to manage the situation. And I'm sure with time, the pain would go down.
Alexander Afenyo Makinde, Futu MP and current Majority Leader, Dr. Samuel Efriye, political analyst and lecturer, is joining us for more on this. Doc, if you can hear me, good evening to you and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, and how are you and also your cherished listeners?
Doc, we're doing very well. Well, thank you for joining us. The postmortem for the NPP's defeat has begun, and already some are calling for a purge of its swords. Others are also playing the blame game. How should the party deal with this pain?
Thank you once again. I think the kind of humiliating defeat and also the results across the country gives much to be desired, and you cannot begrudge some members expressing their utmost kind of disappointment, and here the blame will go to everyone that is within the party. But, you know, it depends on where you are standing, where you're coming from. That is where you put the blames to. You just try to put blames to some people. So I think that is normal when it comes to such situation where the kind of disappointment is so big that you cannot fathom the kind of the reason that caused that. So for me, I think it's normal, and people need to be encouraged. The system needs to be like this so that people can just voice out the expression and also seriously pinpoint certain defects or what caused that from each of the levels or whatever they will find themselves. And I think that for some few time, then they have to set up a committee to find out all the real reasons, and also to have a unifier that will also let people to cool down, so that they will just try to look at how to resolve or to come out of the reasons that brought up this humiliating defeat.
Doc, you talk about the party commissioning a committee. We know that the NDC did the same with the Professor Kwesi Botwe Commission in the 2016 defeat. What do you think should be the pointers for the NPP Commission if they would have to do that? Where should they be starting from?
You know, the committee needs to, at least this thing, you can't just let it go. There should be a serious committee, and these committee members should go in for that fact findings, the real reason why the party lost across board, the apathy that resulted in whatever reason. And I believe that when these things is done, because the NDC did the same thing, and I think it's based on the findings, and that is how they were able to manage those information based on the committee, and that is why they were able to put their things together to also move and win the election. It's very, very important and very, very critical. And here, I think that they should look at every level, from the current president, the vice president, the vice presidential candidate, the national executives. They should go to all these levels to find out the role, and because every member of the party is a cause of this. This defeat is not just about these 6 months or whatever. It started from 3 years ago that the defeat started coming. So here, it's a lot of reasons that could have been assigned. And all these reasons, every party member is part of this defeat.
And Doc, the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, for instance, has started blaming the media, saying that the media made the NPP unpopular. That is why the party suffered such humiliating defeat. Should this be what we should be expecting from him at this time of the party, when people have lauded him for example, for conceding the election and bringing what they say that the tension in the country low? Is this what we should be expecting from somebody of such caliber?
His Excellency the Vice President, I would disagree on that. If the media is in quotes is antagonistic to the party or to come up with different realities, I don't think that you can control the media. And what you have to do is you liaise with them, you collaborate with them, you share, you link with them, so that they can also put you across your issues. So I don't think that much more blame is the media. I think that his people were not able to manage the media very well. They were not able to have a good kind of relationship with the media, so that they could be able to channel their message and everything well, or to handle some of their issues. Because if you just don't build a good relation, and the other media, the media that you talk about, is trying to influence people or use, because I've been saying that in the elections, if you are not smart, the one that is smarter will get you out of the strategy. So I think that the media should not be blamed. I think his team needs to be blamed about how they were not able to manage the relationship with the media.
Doc, before I let you go, while the NPP is probably looking at setting up a commission, in the interim or short time, what should they be doing? Party leaders, party founders, what should they be doing to at least bring down the blame game or the pressure in the party while they look at a broader solution?
I think that within the shortest possible time, when those kind of space, when people are expressing their anger and their issues, I think within, let's say, a few days to come, I think the unifier or any council member or the someone who is respected, maybe President Kufuor, might come in and then appeal to people to calm down, or maybe Agyemang. I think they should have someone who within the party that is much more respected, so that they will just calm nerves down after a period of going through this kind of pain. And I think that it will work for them.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for talking to us. Lefriye is a political analyst and also a lecturer at the Kwame University of Science and Technology.
Well, Grace, talk about the position that the Electoral Commission is taking regarding the declaration of some NDC MPs as NDC parliamentary candidates as MPs elect for the Ocansey Central, Ablekuma North, Tema Central and Dom Kwabenya constituencies. Nelson Rosin Dafem is private legal practitioner and also member of parliament for the South Dyke constituency, indicates that the Electoral Commission has already been dragged to court by the NDC, and so they cannot be seeking to recollect election results so declared by their own officers.
What they are calling recollation, very strange to electoral laws, particularly the Constitution. PNDC Law 284 as well as CI 127, particularly in regulations 39 sub-regulations 2 and 3, specifies how results should be declared after a parliamentary election are held. Now, the only opportunity given to the Electoral Commission to reconsider the outcome of a parliamentary election is contained in regulation 42, where there's parity of results. So that, for instance, if myself and my brother Hotoje contested in a certain constituency and we both obtained, let's say, say 10 votes apiece, then the EC is mandated in law under Regulation 42 of CI 127 to actually conduct a rerun of the election. That is the only window that the Electoral Commission is given under the regulation governing our public election to reconsider the outcome of a parliamentary election. There is no other provision, particularly after the declaration of the results, for the Electoral Commission to do what it is doing. In fact, Agyemang has become a danger to our democracy because, you see, she cannot be a law unto itself. The Electoral Commission is subject to the Constitution and subject to regulation CI 127. CI 127 is very clear that where results are declared, it is not up to the Electoral Commission or the Electoral to decide to ignore, to validate or not validate that declaration, because the declaration is in pursuance of CI 127.
As Nelson Roxon Dafiamepo there. Now, President-elect John Dramani Mahama says Ghanaians should not misconstrue the committee formed to recover state assets as a witch hunting, rather efforts to fight corruption. According to him, the incoming NDC administration has received a number of information regarding corruption scandals through text messages, by call, and some through intermediaries. Therefore, the setting up of the committee is to have a focal point where all that evidence is directed and collated. The committee will then assemble the evidence and pass it on to the appropriate government institutions for further investigation.
With regards to oral Operation Recover All the Loot, I announced the preparatory committee, and I think people are misunderstanding it. We're receiving a lot of information on things that are going wrong, or things, corruption scandals and all that. Some send me texts on my phone, some call me, others pass through other people. We want a focal point where all that evidence is directed, and so that they can assemble that evidence. And once we come into office, oral is not going to be investigating people. It's going to gather the evidence and pass on that evidence to the government institutions that are supposed to do that kind of work. And so we just want that if people have any information that they think is useful in the fight against corruption, pass it on to this team. That's what the team is about. And they are all doing that service pro bono. They are not expecting any payment. There's no expenditure or budget.
Well, so that's John Mahama there, but on this matter of some concerns that have been raised, the Ghana Integrity Initiative has also called for a clear and detailed terms of reference for this committee to be put out, and also their standard operating procedure. Mariada is Executive Director of Ghana Integrity Initiative.
See some SOPs to disabuse our minds of number one. Is this going to be a parallel structure that is going to be put in place to run at the same time as the OSP and also SHRAJ? Number two, what else can they do that the existing structures will not be able to do? Number three.
Hello, Mary. As Mary Ada, the Executive Director of Ghana Integrity Initiative, I spoke to him on Ghana Tonight. And on the same program, I asked Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who is the chairman of this 5-member committee, the preparatory committee for the Operation Recover All Loot, as MP for North Tongue, as to whether indeed they share in those concerns raised by the Ghana Integrity Initiative. This is what he had to say.
This morning, we have a very limited and clear mandate, which is to gather evidence. Our role is more of an evidence-gathering, fact-finding, ordination role, and that's where it ends. We are not prosecutors, we are not judges, we are not going to pronounce anybody guilty. Our work is to make sure that the evidence is gathered. We are to serve as a vehicle. Remember that over the last 8 years, it's been very difficult for whistleblowers to act. It's been difficult for anti-corruption crusaders to work. If you talk to some investigative journalists like Manasseh Azuri, they'll tell you about their harrowing experiences, how they were hounded out of the country. You know of the assassination of Ahmed Hussein Swale. You are in the media. You know how difficult it has been. So when I hear people say, oh, why didn't the president-elect just ask Ghanaians to go to existing institutions? These institutions have always been there, but because we didn't have a good climate, you had a president who became known as a clearing agent. People who were blowing the whistle rather came under attack, and those who were fighting corruption rather turned against them and fought them. The likes of Mr. Domlevo, all our OSPs, one has resigned, the other one has been lamenting. You remember his last press conference where he said he's become an Ankonam and all of that. You know, so the climate has not been good for the fight against corruption. And considering the fact that the incoming president made Operation Recover or Loot a major plank, which has been well accepted by the people. So he has a social contract with the people. He does not want to be seen betraying the people. So he's taking advantage of the transitional arrangement. Remember that it is a very legal arrangement where the Transition Act allows the president to set up these transitional committees and give them specific mandates. The mandate of this committee or this team will end when the government has been fully inaugurated and an attorney general has been nominated, approved by parliament. Then we will hand over the evidence, and then they will go and carry out their prosecutions, enforce their sanctions when they have obtained, court judgments. So I've heard some people say that, oh, is this not a witch hunt? Are we not going to be like the Citizens Vetting Committee and all of that? I think that all of those fears, even though legitimate, are far-fetched. We are minded of the constitutional democratic dispensation. This is not a witch hunt. We are only gathering information. We are encouraging the general public to submit information that they have. Whistleblowers are encouraged. There is a new dispensation, a new climate. They will be protected. They will not be hounded out. They should submit the information they have. Remember that as members of the team, we have also done considerable work in various scandals that we have put out, which have engaged the country's attention, from National Cathedral to the many episodes on state capture, the lands belonging to parks and gardens, prisons, Ghana airports, DVLA. I can go on and on. The Smith hotels, the Labadi Beach Fund. And then the many, scandals we put out about monies lost. The SkyTrain matter, the Pualugu Dam, $12 million, Sputnik V, the Shonky Sheikhs who have duped us, Carrie Summers who is keeping us $6 million, the Japan, $12 million. There's so many of these money, $58 million to dig a hole. Nobody can deny the fact that this country has gone through a great deal of hemorrhage. So much money, billions of dollars have been lost in all kinds of schemes.
Samuel Okujato, Blackwash Northern Member of Parliament, and also the chair of the 5-member preparatory committee for the Operation Recover All Loot. That's a policy being pursued by President-elect John Dramani Mahama's administration. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and also on W 93.5 in Wa and Bilo. We are back shortly after this quick break. Juliana Menuafo is standing by with the latest in the world of business. Stay with us.
My people, are you ready to party bigger and better? Mark your calendars on the...
This year's Yuletide kicks off this Friday with a 3FM takeover at the Christmas Sales Bazaar, Marina Mall, Spintex. We are bringing you 3 super amazing days of shopping. fun activities and giveaways, plus a chance to hang out with your favorite 3FM presenters. On Friday, 20th December, Giovanni will serve you with so much fun like only he can. And the super cool duo of Helen and Godwin will take over on Saturday, 21st and Sunday, 22nd December. Come with the family to enjoy incredible deals of up to 50% discount. Meet other wonderful people, chill, participate in exciting activities, and go home with exciting giveaways. Remember, the location is Marina Mall Spintex. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Get ready to close out the year in style with the official end-of-year party, the 3FM All-White Party, happening on Saturday, the 28th of December at 7 p.m. at the plush La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Imagine the perfect night filled with electrifying music from the hottest DJs, thrilling live performances from Stoneboy, Kitty, Cheche, and Samini. And all your favorite personalities under one roof. Dressed to slay in all white. Ain't no party like a 3FM party, because a 3FM party don't stop. So inviting corporate Ghana to come party with staff or clientele, calling all the girls, and the boys. Whether you're getting seats or tables, get those dazzling white outfits ready and let's party like never before. Call 0532-200-927 or 0531-100-927 for your tables or your seat reservations now. The 3FM All-White Party is proudly sponsored by GCB Bank, your bank for life. Brutelli Calipo, Lemfi, Slam Perfumes, and powered by 92.7 3FM.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the business segment on Hot's edition. Coming up tonight, peasant farmers call for structural reforms in agri sector to ensure proper decentralization and enhanced efficiency. We'll hear from Executive Director Bismarck Owusu Norte. My name is Menu Afo. Please stay tuned. We'll get straight into the details. The Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is advocating for structural reforms at the regional and district levels of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. According to Executive Director Bismarck Owusu Norte, the current structure is flawed, leading to poor policy implementation. The PFAG is pushing for reforms to address this issue, ensuring that the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is better equipped to support smallholder farmers.
If the new government is minded about some of these reforms, which is leading them to rename the ministry, then maybe they should also be paying attention to the decentralization, especially for the agricultural sector, and how officers of local governments are aligned or attached to the local government as against the Ministry of Food and Agri, which is causing a lot of problems. So maybe, just maybe, if it is an area that the government is interested in looking at overhauling the whole agricultural space and renaming, maybe that's an area that I think they should be also interested in. Get the full facts and then see how best we can solve this problem, to at least see some sanity and some coherence when it comes to policy formulation and actual implementation on the ground.
Well, according to the executive director, the issue lies in the fact that regional and district directors receive policies from the Agric Ministry, but their funding is supposed to come from local government ministry, which often does not include these funds in their budgets. This disconnect has resulted in ineffective policy execution, hindering the progress of smallholder farmers.
when it comes to policy formulation, it is done at the ministry. That's the Ministry of Food and Agri currently. But when it comes to the implementation of these policies at the local level, it is done by the district agri directors and the regional directors who are under the Ministry of Local Government. The Ministry of Food and Agri, their budget does not even include other items for the district directors, because they have to report directly to the Ministry of Local Government. And it's creating a lot of problems for even we, the farmers, at the local level. There are instances where the regional and district directors are sometimes at loss as to who they should report to when they want logistics to do their work. Because you have a policy direction coming from the Ministry of Food and Agri, but there's no budget attached to it. But they are proposed to go to the Ministry of Local Government for their budget. And meanwhile, that too has not been considered in the local government's budget.
Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Tete Owusu-Norte, there. In more stories, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is advocating for policy interventions that will promote local production of most imported products. According to GUTA President Dr. Joseph Obeng, members are eager to transition from importation to manufacturing, but current economic policies, particularly taxation and the persistent cedi depreciation, have been major obstacles. The association is urging the incoming John Mahama administration to create an enabling environment that supports local manufacturing.
We have to do everything to reduce the volume of importation. That has been the bane of this country. The problem that we are facing with our forests and all that is as a result of the excessive imports that we do. And if we have to look from within, manufacture, and then consume what we manufacture and all that, it will lessen the dependency of the forest. And it's as simple as a ABC, and we just want the enabling environment, the resources that is required for us to be able to move into such a huge area so that people will be encouraged and emboldened to go into that era. We've been talking about cost of utilities and all that excessive taxation. We have to move away from taxation, as they themselves know, to production. If you're able to do that, then the cost of our produce is not overpriced.
You heard President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, calling for enabling environment that will promote local manufacturing. Well, that's it for business news on Hot Edition. For more stories, kindly check out our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Menu Afo. Stay tuned. The sports news is up next with Oriku Ampofo.
My people, are you ready to party? Back, bigger and better. Mark your calendar.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Oriku Ampofo, and if you remember, all the way back in 2023, 3 Sports paid a visit to a physically challenged football coach, Daniel Datson, in Kumasi. Now, after the story aired, the Ghana Football Association Foundation sponsored Datson to attain a CAF License D certificate for his coaching degree. Now, Billy Shen, my colleague, tells the story of Daniel's progress so far.
After 3 Sports visited Daniel Datson in July last year, his conviction to become a top-level coach strengthened, despite his physical challenges. He kept teaching the basics of football to children at the Invincible Soccer Academy in Kumasi, with hopes of one day attaining a coaching license. After one of his training sessions in early November, he received a call from the GFA Foundation. Datson was asked to undertake a CAF License D course free of charge. He jumped for joy.
I was very, very happy when the GFA people called me to come and do my first License D course as a coach. I was very happy, and one thing I want to say is I really appreciate what TV3 has done for me so far.
He joined a group of about 40 men and women in November to undertake the course at the Ghanaman Soccer Center in Pram Pram. It was a rigorous week-long session focused on helping coaches to deliver quality training to children. It was an experience he cherished.
We've seen the work he was doing in the community already, and we thought with a little push in terms of getting him to be certified as a coach, getting a license D. And in Ghana now, the least license you can get is license D. And after, for some days now I've been speaking to him, and he tells me that, he's greatly improved in terms of knowledge and everything. He realized that what he was doing was just child's play.
Datsun once coached Black Stars midfielder Francis Abu during his formative years, and with the CAF License D certificate out of the way, he's well equipped now to provide a path for young children to stardom. But he wants to go to the next level, just like his idol and current Asante Kotoko coach, Prosper Nate Ogum.
I'm looking forward to do the License C. That will be a year after the License D. And after the License C, 2 years. If I pass the License C, I have a minimum of 2 years to do my License B. And then the License B also have minimum of 2 years before I can also do the License A. So that is it. And I want to get to the top there.
His story provides a beacon of hope for others with his condition. It is a reminder that dreams can still come true. His ultimate goal will not be easy, but he has a better chance now of getting there.
Well, let's still stay in Ghana, where Albert Hammoah has been speaking ahead of the Black Galaxy's CHAN playoff against Nigeria this weekend. Hammoah has been in superb form for Asante Kotoko this season and has scored 7 goals for Prosper Nate Ogum's men, with the latest coming against Accra Hearts of Oak, where he scored the winner. Now, the striker believes that they are poised and have what it takes to beat Nigeria to qualify for the competition.
Looking at the start of our operation and how far we have come, and I think Ghanaians should expect something different from us, because we have really prepared well and we are ready to give them what they want and make them happy and bring the love that they love football, like how they cherish the Black Stars and everything. We will bring that love back, and so I'm urging them to come in enormous, so that we will give them what they want. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
And so that was Albert Hammoah speaking ahead of the playoff between the Black Galaxies and Nigeria this weekend on Sunday here in Accra. And then they would face off in the second leg in Nigeria a week later. But also later tonight, there will be Carabao Cup action. So far, 3 teams have qualified for the semi-finals. There's Arsenal, Newcastle, and then Liverpool. There's one more slot left, and that would be decided later tonight when Manchester United face Tottenham Hotspurs at the London Stadium. Let's hear from the 2 coaches ahead of this crunch tie, starting with Ruben Amorim.
Nowadays, all the coaches knows about because I explain a lot of things about the team, the way we play, I want to play, the positioning, etc. But I say that because I understand that the coaches have that information just to see one time Manchester United play. So I'm not really worried about that, and I also cannot control that. So I will do the same things, prepare the same games, because for me it's more important for my players to go to the game with a clear idea how to do it, than try to hide something to protect the leaking of the starting 11. That is not my focus. I'm not really worried about.
Also, Ruben Amorim will be coming up against Ange Postecoglou, who himself will be looking for his first piece of silverware with Tottenham Hotspur.
No, I don't think quarterfinals is close. You get to a final, then you're close. There's still a fair bit of football to be played. All we can do is, be ready for tomorrow night. Like I said, good game. Big opponent. They've done well in cup competitions the last couple of years. We're at home, which is great for us, with the support behind us, and as you said, an opportunity to get to a semi-final. So I think that's enough kind of motivation and kind of focus we need for this game.
And so that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Hot Edition on TFM 92.7. My name is Orio Kwampafo, and Hot Edition continues right after this.
Get ready to close out the year in style with the official end-of-year party, the 3FM All-White Party, happening on Saturday, the 28th of December at 7 p.m. at the plush La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Imagine the perfect night filled with electrifying music from the hottest DJs, thrilling live performances from Stoneboy, Kitty, Cheche, and Samini. And all your favorite personalities under one roof. Dressed to slay in all white. Ain't no party like a 3FM party, cause a 3FM party don't stop. So inviting corporate Ghana to come party with staff or clientele, calling all the girls and the boys. Whether you're getting seats or tables, get those dazzling white outfits ready and let's party like never before. Call 0532 200 927 or 0531 100 927 for your tables or your seat reservations now. The 3FM All-White Party is proudly sponsored by GCB Bank, your bank for life. Brutelli Calipo, Lemfi, Slam Perfumes, and powered by 92.7 3FM.
Welcome back. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Just gone by was business with Minu and Oreku Afo also bringing us the sports. Let's do other stories now. Spokesperson for the government side of the transition team and Minister of Information, Fatima Abubakar, has clarified that no last-minute clearance has been done by the government for subsequent recruitment. Addressing the media, she noted that those actions claimed to be last minute by the incoming transition team were done months back, emphasizing that the government's mandate does not expire until January 7.
It means either of us made a proposal and the other party accepted the proposal. Until there is such a thing, you cannot say there was an agreement. Yes, they proposed that they want recruitment, what they call last minute recruitment and payment referred to the team. But outside of the team reminded them that the mandate, the executive authority given to the president for which he has appointed his cabinet ministers and government does not expire until the eve of 7th January 2025. And this is a position that the NDC side held long time ago, at least for me, since I became familiar with our political dispensation. So I didn't think they would have expected anything different, knowing their earlier position. But first of all, there is no law or provision in the Transition Act stopping government from paying or recruiting. It doesn't exist. That is the first point. The second point, there is no agreement between the NDC side and the outgoing government or NPP side on the transition team to submit recruitment and payment to the transition team. That also does not exist. So if a request or a proposition is not backed by law or by any set purported agreement, I don't know on what basis you would bring out such a statement and cause such a public uproar and set a media campaign against the outgoing government that there was an agreement which they have flouted.
Fatima Abubakar, Information Minister and also a member of the NPP transition team. Let's go to the courts where families of victims of the East Legon accident, which led to the death of two 12-year-old girls are calling for amendment of the Juvenile Justice Act to impose stiffer punishment to minors engaged in heinous crimes. The family and juvenile court sentenced 16-year-old son of the leader of Alive Chapel International, Bishop Salifu Amoah, to 6 months after he pleaded guilty to charges including manslaughter. Here's grandmother of Justine Agyemang, one of the victims, speaking to journalists after the sentencing.
Saturday, October 12, 2024, will forever be etched in the memories of the families of Justine Agyemang and Mami Jumo as a dark day after the two 12-year-old girls tragically lost their lives in an accident caused by the negligent driving of son of Bishop Salifu Amoah. The 16-year-old who obtained the keys to his mother's Jaguar F-Pace Sport from a personal assistant, Linda Bonsubempa, according to the prosecution, was a regular driver despite having no license. He initially pleaded not guilty to 8 counts of charges comprising 2 counts of manslaughter, 3 counts of negligently causing harm, 2 counts of dangerous driving, and a count of driving without valid license. After a while, however, he changed his plea to guilty and was eventually convicted on his own plea. In court on Thursday, presiding judge Benis Bensima Akun sentenced him to 6 months at the Senior Correctional Center, the highest punishment prescribed by the Juvenile Justice Act for a juvenile offender for manslaughter. His parents, Bishop Salifu Amoah and Moha, were fined 500 penalty units each, which is equivalent to 6,000 Ghana cedis, for failing to regulate their son. The court also ordered Bishop Salifu Amoah to pay for the damages of properties destroyed, including a light pole valued over 8,000 Ghana cedis. Grandmother of Justine Agyemang, despite being pleased with the fast pace of justice delivery, said more needed to be done.
The juvenile system say, yeah, yet let's say a Christian shop film 6 months and yes, 7 or 7 no. And brand business also to include through reckless driving.
As part of his sentencing, the court said Salifu Amoah's son is to sign an undertaking not to drive until he turns 18 years. He is also to report to probation officers periodically on every Friday, and his sentence is to start immediately. Lodi Dwasari, TVC News, Accra.
Let's come back to the studio and speak to lawyer John Kwesing, who is a constitutional lawyer. He joins us on the phone. Lawyer, thank you for joining us tonight. The general sentiment around the sentencing is that it is too lenient, especially considering that 2 lives were lost through this accident. Do you share in this opinion, or it is just the merits of the case?
Good evening to your listeners also. Yes, as you have rightly said, between you and I, or maybe the general public, on the surface, I think what people may say is that looking at the seriousness of the case, and to the extent that 2 people have died, the punishment in a way should also be a harsher one. But whether, fortunately for the young gentleman, or unfortunately for the general public, the law is already made, okay? Some as far back as in the 1960s, the criminal code has been in existence since 1960. And then in 2003 is way back. We also have the Juvenile Justice Act in place. Now, whatever existed is what will bind this particular young guy also. So it's not like in every situation or in every case, then they go and make new laws to apply. Just for the purposes of 1 or 2 public education, what exists now is that with juvenile jurisdiction, they have categorized the offenses into 2, what they call the serious offenses and then the non-serious offenses. The serious ones, as you and I may know, include murder, rape, robbery, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, The other half-brother of murder is manslaughter. And that is what I apply to this gentleman's case. Unfortunately, manslaughter doesn't fall under one of those serious offenses. So per this categorization, the law says if you have serious offenses, the maximum sentence should be 3 years. And if you fall under, then the maximum should be 6 years. The law was already made. Unfortunately, this manslaughter falls under the unserious offenses. There's a thin line between manslaughter and murder.
Doc, I was just going to ask you, so how does the law differentiate between manslaughter and murder? What is the difference?
So murder is a clear-cut one that you all know. You purport in your heart, you decide that, yes, I have seen this particular lady. I'll pick a weapon, I'll do this, I'll do that. The intention, okay, or the purpose is that I'm going to kill the person to die. Do you get it?
Yes.
When per your act, per your thinking and per your act, in criminal law, we have the thinking, that's the intent, and then you follow it by action. You can plan, but if you don't act, the crime will not be committed. You can also commit the crime, but then your intention will not be there. Do you get it? So with these two, they go hand in hand. The murder is the one that you plan that I want to kill and you have killed. Then the manslaughter is that somebody has still died anyway, but you didn't plan it.
Okay.
Maybe through accident, okay, or inadvertently, by a mistake or somewhat, and due to your recklessness, it results in somebody's death. I hope the difference comes.
It is very clear now.
So in this boy's case, he was driving, he was reckless, and then through an accident occurred, and through the accident, these people died. He didn't plan from home, but this is what I want to do. I want to go and kill these people.
Lawyer, but if you're driving recklessly, the tendency of you killing somebody is very high.
Yeah, that is why there's an offense for that. But it won't qualify to be murder. You get it? And criminal law, everything has been defined already. Don't do A, B, C. If you do A, B, C, it is murder. If you add A, B, C, D, E, F, then that one becomes manslaughter. Do you get it? So they look at the instances and where you fall. Then they can peg it and then see, okay, this is where you are. And the laws, manslaughter, the maximum is 6 months. Maybe unless we can, based on this one, and then the Kasua instance also. You see, the Kasua instance, the guy was actually convicted and sentenced for murder. But because he was also below 18 years, the law says if you are below 18 years, your sentence should go to the juvenile. And the juvenile, the maximum for murder or all other serious offenses is 3 years. So the one who had above 18 years had full sentence. Then the one who was a junior had the 3 years. That is per the law. Now, with this particular instance, and if you want to go by the law, whilst the public is crying, if you look at the law too, some of us will also say the judge was even harsh. The judge rather gave a harsher sentence because when they give you maximum sentence, there are other mitigating factors. Do you get it?
Yes. No.
Now, the mitigating factors, some of them include the fact that you're a first-time offender. Judges will look at that. Then also, if you plead guilty, from the onset, you are telling the whole world that you don't want to waste the court time. You don't want to waste the prosecution's time. The state will not spend money on you and so on and so forth. So every jurisdiction in the world, they consider all this. Now, you might also say that there are aggravating factors, but then the aggravating factors will culminate into the fact that you have to give a maximum, which is 6. But then the mitigating factors will come and cancel some of the effects.
All right, Lawyer, so now that we have established this, there's also the part of the conversation that argues that the law was passed in 1960, many years ago, and we cannot compare a child that was 11 years old in 1962, a child that is 11 years old today. Don't you think it is time we should be looking at a review of this law? 1960, 2024 is quite a gap.
Exactly. Now, before I even come to that one, with what we have now, that's 2003. The 2003 one gives the categorization that if you are below 18, okay, up to 12, we are pegging it at 12 because if you go outside of the Juvenile Justice Act, there's another superior act somewhere. That's the 1961 you are talking about. There's section 26. It says that any child below 12 years, okay, when you commit even murder, the law should allow you to go. And that's what leads us to your point. Now, in our era, we have AI, we have computer, we have TikTok and the rest. If you pick an 8-year-old, virtually, he or she knows almost everything about this world that we need to know. There are things that they know that adults do not even know about. So we are of the view that we've come of age. 1960 is quite a long time. But unfortunately, the judges don't make laws. So it's the parliamentarians we need to appeal to, you and I, using your platform, to appeal to them to go back and look into most of our archaic laws. It's not only this 11-year or 12-year as the ceiling. There are more potholes in our criminal jurisdiction that people commit, crimes, and then they are let loose because of the fact that we are in modern era and nothing has been done about our laws.
All right,
so we use your platform and appeal to our parliamentarians. It's high time they look into some of these things, because look at Kaswa, whole murder was committed, you see, but then at the end of the day, because of the age. Now, we can't also blame the framers of the law in its entirety. Now, because we've also subscribed to some international laws, that protect the right of children and so on and so forth. But we are just of the opinion that we can also have some exceptions for some categories of persons. Because if you want to have a wholesale thing and say that below 12 years, anything at all you want to do, because I witnessed a case in one of the district courts.
Lawyer, I'm sorry, we're running out of time, so if you could briefly wrap it up for me. Yeah,
so all in all, I think for the sake of your time, we'll just sympathize with the family of the disease. And then we shouldn't also, the thing has happened already. Let's just forgive, and then also learn helping also to the other family also. Both parties, they all need our help at this point in time, so that we don't continue to be raising the issue and then be blaming each other. It's an unfortunate thing that has occurred. So
all right.
Let me leave it here for
Yes. Lawyer, thank you for talking to us. Lawyer John Kwesing is a constitutional lawyer updating us on, the tenets of the law and how this judgment has panned out. Well, that will be all for us by way of Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It came to you live from our studios here in Adisawe, Kanda, Accra. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. I was here with Alfred Ocansey. Good evening and enjoy the rest of our programs.